Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss general heat conduction equation in cylindrical coordinates. Now for this, first of all consider a cylinder. Okay, now consider an element within this cylinder. This element is having a height of dz, a thickness of dr, okay, and this element is subtending the angle d phi at the center of the cylinder, and the element is at a distance small r from the center of the cylinder. Okay, so length of this line, which is curved line, will be r d phi from basics of the mathematics. Now heat can flow in three directions in this element. First one is radially outward, okay. Second one is tangential direction, okay. So I have shown tangential direction by phi, radial direction by r, and third is axial direction. So we have shown the axial direction by z. Okay, now our basic aim is to determine the general heat conduction equation. As I already told you, every derivation in this subject starts from the basic energy principle. Okay, so this equation A plus B is equals to C is showing the basic energy balance for this element. Now I have shown a analogy of the bank account to discuss this equation. Okay, now consider there is a bank account, and in a certain duration of time, suppose 5 or 6 months, we have deposited some money. Suppose we have deposited 50,000 of money, and we have taken out 20,000 money from this account. Okay, now the subtraction of this 30,000 will be stored in the bank account, and the interest on this 30,000 for the period will also be stored in the account. So net worth of this account will be subtraction of these two plus interest. So similarly I have shown for this element, A is representing the money in and money out, which is basically heat conducted in and heat conducted out to this element. Okay, B is showing money generated, basically heat generated in this element, and C is showing net worth. So net worth, net heat content of this element C will be equals to the summation of A and B. Now consider this is a joint account. So three members can deposit and withdraw the money from the account. So part A constitute of three members. R is showing father, Z is showing mother, and phi is showing son. So if father deposited 50,000 and taken out 40,000, okay. Similarly, mother deposited 40,000 and taken out 30,000. Similarly, son deposited 30,000 and taken out 20,000. So subtraction of all these three, okay, will be stored in the bank account. So 30,000 money will be stored in the bank account for a period of 6 months. Now B is basically interest on this thing, on this 30,000 money. Similarly, heat can conduct into this element in three directions, as I already told you: radial, axial, and tangential. And basic algebraic sum of all these three will basically raise the heat content of the element. And B is heat generated within the element. We have shown the heat generated in the element in terms of heat generated per unit volume. Small qz is heat generated in the element per unit volume, and r d phi dr dz is basically volume of the element, because this dimension is dz, this dimension is dr and this dimension is rd phi. As we already know, for a differential volume, for a differential control volume, we can assume this curved surface to be a linear one. As we already know from the basics of the mathematics, if there is a curve and we are considering very small amount, very small segment of this curve, then we can treat this curve as a line, linear. For very small reason, this is linear. Similarly, we have considered a differential volume because there are basically two types of methods of the analysis. First one is differential and second one is integral approach. So we are following the differential approach, in which we have considered a differential element within the system. So for differential element, we can treat this curved surface as a linear surface, and this element now this element can be treated as a cuboid, which is having three sides as dz, dr and rd phi. Now volume of this element will be this one. Okay, and C is basically showing the net heat content. So net heat content will increase, it will increase the internal energy of the element by this amount. Okay, so we have discussed this basic heat balance equation. A plus B is equals to C. Now we have to determine the value of A only. We know the value of B, which is heat generated within the element, and C is total heat content of the element. Okay, so we know these two parameter. Basically what we are going to do, we are going to determine the value of A and substitute in this equation, which is equation number 1, and finally solve and get the general heat conduction equation in cylindrical coordinates. Now QR plus dr, as we already know, can be obtained from Taylor series expansion. So from Taylor series expansion, QR plus dr is basically QR plus del upon del r, QR into dr. Okay, now if what this equation is showing, if 50 units of heat is entering the control volume in radial direction and 70 units of heat is leaving the control volume in radial direction, so this 70 unit can be written as 50 plus 20 heat entering the control volume plus change of the heat in the control volume. So we have done this in the similar way in the Taylor series expansion. Heat entering the control volume plus total change will be equal to the total heat leaving the control volume in a certain duration of time. Now you can notice that I have put a bar, a comma on the top of the Q. This is showing heat content, not heat transfer rate. In HMT, we denote Q as heat transfer rate, which is basically heat flow per unit time. We are taking here a amount of heat for a certain duration of time. Here time is dt. Okay, so all terms in this equation are amount of heat content, not heat transfer rate, because we are considering energy balance, thermal energy balance. Okay, now further QR and QR will cancel each other. Now we are left with minus del upon del r QR dr. Now we can substitute the value of QR. From the basics of the Faraday's law of conduction, we know QR, heat conducting into this element in radial direction, can be given as minus Ka dt upon dr into dr into dt. So this is showing heat transfer rate. When we multiply this by dt, time interval, suppose 2, 3, 4 seconds, then we will get the amount. Okay, I am going to emphasis in these two concepts. In Faraday's law of conduction, we take area perpendicular to the heat flow direction. Heat is flowing in radial direction. So for QR, area perpendicular to the heat flow direction will be R d phi into this, which is dz, R d phi into dz. So heat is conducting in by this phase. Okay. In the Fourier's law of conduction, area is taken perpendicular to the heat flow direction and temperature gradient is taken along the direction of the heat conduction. Because heat is conducting in radial direction, so we need to take the temperature gradient in radial direction only for QR. Okay, and this is showing temperature gradient. Now, after further simplification, as we already know, thermal conductivity and these terms dr, dz and d phi are the dimensions of the contour volume which are constant. So all constant are taken out of the derivative. After that we will get the equation like this, and r and del t upon del r only variable in this equation. After differentiation by chain rule, we will get the equation like this. Z direction, we will calculate the value like this. Same principle, Taylor series expansion, qz plus dz can be written as like this. From Taylor series expansion, qz and qz will cancel each other. Now we are left with this term only. Okay, now we will substitute the value of qz. Qz is given as minus Ka del T upon del Z dz, and this is heat transfer rate and this is total time interval. So we will get the amount of heat. Now again these two terms are emphasized because heat is conducting in axial direction. So for axial direction, area perpendicular will be this top surface, and the value of area will be r d phi into dr. I already told you for differential element, this curved line is treated as a linear, as a line. Okay, so this will be basically a rectangle. So for a rectangle, the area is r d phi into dr, and we take temperature gradient along the direction of the heat flow, and heat is flowing in axial direction. So temperature gradient will be del T upon del Z. After further simplification, we will get the value of this term as like this. Now similarly, we will calculate this term from Taylor series expansion. This term q phi plus d phi can be written like this, and after these two terms will cancel each other, we will get like this. Now the value of q phi, which is the heat transfer rate in tangential direction. Okay, tangential direction can be written as minus Ka dt upon r d phi, because area perpendicular to the heat flow direction in tangential is like this, dr into dz, and del T upon r del phi is temperature gradient in the direction of heat flow. Heat is flowing in this direction, so heat part of the heat flow will be r d phi. When we multiply this with dt, we will get total amount of heat change in tangential direction. After further simplification, we will get the equation like this. Now what we are going to do, we are going to substitute these value, this and this, into this equation to determine the value of A, and after we will solve and get the general heat equation in cylindrical coordinates. Now welcome to the second part of the lecture. In the previous part, we have determined the value of A, B and C. The value of A is basically summation of these three quantities. Now we have substitute this value in the equation number 1, then we will get the equation like this. So this whole term is showing the value of A. Now we Qz dot is heat generated per unit volume per unit time. So in this equation, we have basically total amount of heat generated in a certain duration of time. So when we multiply this with volume and the time interval, then we will get the total amount of heat generated. So Q dot G multiplied by volume and the time interval will give the total amount of heat generated within this element, and this is showing total heat content or the total heat stored in the element. And now I have replaced mass by rho into volume. So this is the volume, as we already know. Now further, from this whole equation, volume of the element is cancelled in every term, and also dt is present in all terms, so dt is also cancelled. Okay, now after further simplification we will get the equation like this. Now k is taken common to the whole left hand side. When k is taken common to the whole left hand side, then k will be divided by qz, because qz doesn't include the term of k. So qz will be k, and this k will be shifted to the right hand side, and in this way rho c del t upon del tau will be divided by k. As we already know, k by rho c is alpha, so rho c by k will be 1 by alpha. Now this is our final general heat conduction equation in cylindrical coordinates. Remember, while deriving this equation, we have treated k as constant. That is why we have taken k outside the derivative. So for this equation, thermal conductivity of the material is constant. It is not varying with space, direction and temperature. If thermal conductivity of the material is variable, then this k term will be taken to the inside of the derivative in all these three terms. Okay, so now we will stop here and discuss the heat conduction, 1D steady state heat conduction in radial direction through cylindrical coordinates in next lecture. Thank you everyone.